I want to start with Cronulla because I thought Craig Fitzgibbon summed it up perfectly in one answer at the press conference post-match.
Melbourne Storm understand what it means to be a great side. I think we're a really good side that just haven't quite converted to becoming a great side at the moment, and that's what these pressure moments and situations are about. And we just missed the start, and then their freshness and physicality got us, and probably been up for a little bit too long to be able to cope with it tonight.
It can't be easy in that position, but that was classy. Like, that is a great assessment of his team. I think that Cronulla are just consistently making the finals. They are a very good side. Their best is very good.
Yeah.
But how do they get that next bit, Brandy? Is it there for them or not? What do you say after Friday
What was
night?
the difference between the two teams? Was it the 1-6-7-9?
Yeah, I'd say the big match players.
Basically, how do you improve that?
Mm.
How do you change that? How do you get them to go to the next step?
Yep.
I don't know. Well, Blake Brayley
has
certainly
never played better.
He went to the next step, didn't he?
Yep.
Can the other three go to the next step?
You have to have that review. You have to assess it that way.
It was a good finals game, a good prelim final, but it always looked like Melbourne were going to win the game.
Mm.
And Fitzy said that himself.
Yeah.
They jumped out.
Yeah.
They got a start, and they're very hard to beat when they do get a start.
Mm.
So, and there was periods where Katoa scored that try and got them to 10-8, but then the try right on half time, like the chip over the top from Cameron Munster, that was scored. The try scored by Pappenhausen.
Yeah.
16-8 at the break. They did reduce it with the penalty goal, but then it was the tackle of Cameron Munster and Ryan Pappenhausen. Now, they were penalised for it, and that was the penalty goal that Cronulla kicked.
Yes.
Britt Nickera was scoring for all money.
Yes.
He was across the try line.
Do you kick that penalty goal, by the way? I'm not. I know Joel Kane's big on the math and you're 8 down and make it 6 and all. I was anti that. Hectic Fred. Mindy did it. We couldn't even play it. It was so expletive later from Hectic Fred about going for the penalty goal. He couldn't believe it. Would you have done the same? Would you have reduced 8 to 6? I wouldn't.
Well,
I wouldn't. Not when you're playing Melbourne. I'm not.
My initial reaction was no. I would have taken the tap. But then when I thought about it, when he was lining up the kick, when they made the decision, I said, well, I'm not really against it.
Yep.
6-1, half a dozen the other. The only thing that I thought was the reason, and this is the reason I thought Penrith didn't take the 2 yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Penrith didn't. They knocked back the 2. I thought, well, they've been under pressure. They want to try and keep the ball down this end. Even if they don't come up with points,
good call.
They want to try and keep. And I thought the Sharks were thinking that because they'd been under the pump, they got down the other end, and then all of a sudden they kicked the 2. And anyway, in hindsight, it's easy to say no.
You are the former great halfback. I'll get your comment on Jerome Hughes in a moment, coming back from the broken arm. But his coach, Craig Bellamy, obviously asked about the performance, the comeback of Jerome Hughes, which was quite incredible.
As you say, they were always going to test him out, and he knew that. I think he swapped positions over a couple of times, to make it a little bit harder to get at him. But at the end of the day, like I say, his running game, he wasn't hesitant with his running game at all. He wasn't hesitant with his kicking. So, he just proves that what he said was dead set right. He was ready to play, and, I thought, with all due respect, he was one of our better players.
What a try!
He was one of our better players. Well, the try was brilliant. It was off a Stefano offload, but the offload didn't create anything for him. It was Hughes' footwork and speed that just opened up the Sharks, and he was able to go all the way and score.
Yeah.
He only made 9 tackles. So, and they did a good job of just swapping him and not having him sit in that one spot where he will be a target. And there's no doubt with the shoulder and the broken arm, he is underdone.
Yeah.
But the Storm did a great job.
Can I ask you about Jerome Hughes? And maybe you've never been asked this because and I am going on your playing experience. You came through an era of amazing halfbacks and Sterling and Mortimer and Ricky Stewart and Alfie Langer and all those. You played in all that time. Jerome Hughes is a 7. How would he stack up in that time against all those players? Have you got him now? He's in the elite of our current game, but how would he go? How do you line him up against all those great halfbacks who are in your time, Brandy?
I know. I think he stands up. Absolutely he stands up. Like he's the reigning Dally M medal winner.
Yep.
And his development as a halfback. Let's not forget he's a fullback. He's a fullback that they turned into a halfback.
One game for the Titans, one game for the Cowboys before he gets to Melbourne.
As a fullback. Yeah. That's right.
One game.
One game. So he's able to, and it's his running game that is his strength. But that's not giving him enough credit for what else he's got, in his kit bag in terms of ball playing, defence, his ability to kick the ball. He's an underrated kicker of the ball. Like we talk about Nathan Cleary and Adam Reynolds, who are the standouts. Mitch Moses, stand out for long kicks. Jerome's very good.
Yeah.
Jerome's very good he's got a great all-round game, but he's a great runner of the ball.
And he's a quality person. Like, I don't know whether Jerome Hughes probably does. He probably hasn't done relatively speaking, he's not in the media. Like, he doesn't draw attention to himself. He's not a Reece Walsh. Nathan Cleary is constantly in focus. Hughes, is it because he's in Melbourne? I don't know. But he doesn't do a lot out there. But when you meet him and sit down with him, he's incredibly engaging. He's fantastic to talk with, both as a personality and talking football.
Yes. I think the fact that he doesn't play Origin.
Good point. Good point.
He doesn't play Origin, so he's not in the the limelight through that 6-week period where we are talking Origin.
Yeah. Okay, now we get to the coach, Craig Bellamy. He's done it again. This was Craig's summation of Melbourne making the grand final and their performance.
I find it amazing that people say, you get to the grand final, but you failed the year. Like, please. At the end of the day, it's hard to get into a grand final, and it's extra hard to win one. And so, like I say, we found the way today to get into the grand final, and hopefully, we can find a way to finish it off next week. But at the end of the day, there's going to be two teams there, and they're going to be two good teams, and like I say, see what happens.
Well, you've got to get to a grand final to give yourself a chance to win a premiership, don't you? You've got to make it. You've got to get there. You've got to get through a prelim final. And I saw the emotion on Craig Bellamy immediately after full time when they won, when he hugged the box, like his people that sit in the box with him. Like, you could see how much it meant to get. They've done it again. They've done it again. They've got themselves to a grand final.
Yeah.
You have to get there to win one, don't you?
Yeah. Now, I'll say this. See, I'm the bloke who's never laced on the boot. You are. Craig Bellamy, in my time in the media, when I've interviewed him in a media capacity, he's impressive. He's good to talk to, but he is always just a little guarded. You're not. But then I've got to interview Craig on stage at an event, at a private function. And I and everyone in the room, you know what our reaction was in the interview? Geez, I'd like to be coached by him. If ever I was good enough, I'd want to be coached by him.
Yep.
Whatever he's got.
Yep.
And now we're talking more than 2 decades of excellence. The only year they missed the finals under Bellamy was the salary cap year.
Yep.
If they win on Sunday, I'm getting ahead of myself, but if they win on Sunday, is he the greatest ever? As a coach, you're talking about the length of time now. Yeah, sure, Jack had the 5 premierships. Bennett, obviously longevity, Bennett and Bellamy stack up together.
Yep.
Ethan Cleary rather recently with a 4 straight.
Yep.
Does Bellamy go to the top of the queue, front of the queue?
He might. I'd have to. I want to sit down with his achievements in front of me before I comment on that. But he's one of the greats. He is one of the greats. I don't know whether he goes to the very top, but he is one of the greats. And when you talk about who you'd like to be coached with, well, let's just talk about the 4 coaches that were left in the prelim finals, like Ivan Cleary. Love to play under Ivan. Craig Fitzgibbon. I'd love to play under Fitzy. And I had the opportunity to watch Fitzy coach in the state of origin realm, and he was fantastic. And that was before he was a head coach. You thought, there's a head coach for sure. Michael Maguire, Madge, tough.
The Maguire slam.
That's
Maguire
right.
slam. Test win.
And then you got Craig Bellamy.
But
That's
I'm saying Bellamy, the players in that squad, Meaney, King, Blore, I mean, when they go to Melbourne, they're not even
some of them
certainties to be selected every week in the first grade sides they came from.
A lot of the players are players that their own clubs didn't really want to sign.
Craig Bellamy, what a champion. Brisbane, Penrith yesterday, a preliminary final for the ages. It was absolutely incredible.
Yep. And it was a tale of 2 halves. It really was. Penrith dominated possession. They were 20 of 23 in the first half. Brisbane had their chances in the first half, but dropped the ball early in the tackle count on 3 occasions, 3 times on the attack. They dropped the ball. I think Shibasaki put it down after a 6 to go call. There was a penalty. Karapani was pushed into touch. Xavier Willison dropped the ball very close to the try line. So they didn't give themselves many chances to get across the line in that first half. But I always had a feeling that if possession swung, that they had enough strike. The players that stood out, Tony Staggs was brilliant all game, hard to stop. Reece Walsh did enough. I thought Ben Hunt, when he moved to hooker, was very good.
Yep.
Adam Reynolds, his return certainly helped Brisbane win the game.
Payne Haas
was outstanding.
Second half.
And then Adam Reynolds' moment to kick the goal to put them in front.
I'm gonna ask you about that because I will draw on your again. I'm going to go back to your playing days, just like I did with Jerome Hughes. But Adam Reynolds puts Brisbane in front with 3 to go. His first kick since round 23. This is what Adam had to say about his kick.
Just process, something that I've been practicing for a hell of a long time. I knew once we scored the try, I sort of had to separate the emotions from what was going on at the time. I mean, the crowd was amazing. They were so loud. It was good to just sit back and take that in and then completely shut off from everything and just focus about the kick. And let's just process over and over and over again. Been practicing that since I was a little kid. Waterloo Oval back home down there. But replicated that in my mind 1,000 times. And to nail it tonight was a good feeling.
What a great answer. Now you have been there and done that because Penrith's first ever grand final win, while everyone remembers Royce's second try, a bloke called Alexander steps up and kicks one from the sideline with the crowd going nuts. If you miss the kick, it's still game on. You get the kick, grand final as good as one. How do you do it? He's saying that's the process, but can you try and hop inside your head? How do you do that?
You do. You ignore everything and just go back to what you did as training. Yeah, like what you do in training. And I always I would approach the kick as, and I'd almost say to myself, this is a kick in front. It's just like kick in front. So you could kick a goal in front blindfolded. Process. You don't even have to see the ball. So if you put yourself in that mindset, even on the sideline, it's don't do anything different to what you do from a kick in front.
But different Adam Reynolds kick. So you were kicking at the old Sydney Football Stadium, and you see Reynolds wasn't quite a sideline conversion; it was a little in. But you
just as tough.
Are right up on the fence where the fan could almost touch you. So how do you not hear what's going on around you? How on earth? Like I can't write an email if the TV's loud. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't concentrate on what I'm doing if there's a heap of noise. How do you do that, Brandy? Do you hear the crowd?
No, you
don't.
No, you don't. You don't. You sort of block it all out, Andrew. I don't, and I think it's just it's just experience and the fact that you've done it so many times that you can do that. And look at the golfers that we've done. Like Rory's got people a yard away from him, screaming at him, holding phones up, and he's trying to massage a golf ball out of the rough onto a green that's, the pin's 30 metres away, and he knocks it to within a couple of feet. It's just doing it over and over and over again.
That was one aspect of it. Michael Maguire, proud as punch after the match, as you could understand. He was asked to sum it up and the build-up of the Broncos season.
The boys have been building this, obviously from day one since I've been here, and I just want to credit the players to stay solid to the path that we've been. I always believed coming here that this was an opportunity that we could create. So just wrap for the players. Well, it's how the boys have been, to be honest. I mean, the last sort of couple of months, I guess, the way I've seen them train over the year, and then knowing that that's inside them, that they can come home like that, and they've shown that. That's the reasons why I guess a pre-season is, the things that you do.
Do they change their side? So don't forget Patrick Carrigan is still to come into the side.
Yeah.
I don't think they changed their wingers. He's sort of flip-flopped on his wingers all through the season. Jesse Arthurs, Selwyn Cobbo, they're fit. You stay with what you've got, don't you? Do you start with Corey Pakes, and you bring Ben Hunt? Did you make that change, Ezra Mem, or do you just go Ezra Mem at 5'8", Ben Hunt at hooker, Carrigan comes into the side.
Jeez, yeah. Well, Carrigan obviously comes straight in. Smoothie's the person bumped, but it's if Smoothie retains his spot in the 17 now that Willison.
Correct.
It's a tough. I go with Willison.
Yeah, I go with
X-factor,
Willison.
Smoothie bump, but you're right about Mam. Does Mam
No,
stay 14 or bump your dummy half?
I think Smoothie holds a spot on the bench. Ben Hunt starts at 9.
So Pakes
Pakes
is out
gone.
altogether.
Pakes
Wow.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, only because of the versatility of Smoothie,
Okay.
who can play, who's a dummy half that can
But
play in the
played
middle.
middle forward, yeah, good shout. The start of the press conference was a cute moment with Adam Reynolds sitting alongside of Michael Maguire. A throng like they've never seen before was in the media room.
It's busy tonight. Hey, it's busy tonight. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. It's nice to be a part of.
Nice to be a part of, he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were looking there.
Yeah.
Now Penrith, I thought pretty classy. It's quite a shot. You see Ivan Cleary sitting there with Nathan Cleary. It's his father and son, and they're sitting there. And again, as I admire Craig
As coach and
Fitzgibbon,
captain.
it has to be the toughest press conference of the year.
Yeah.
It's the last thing you want to do, really, isn't it?
Oh.
It's the last thing you'd want to do.
Fine.
Like just
You'd rather
have a
be
beer and
poked in the eye with a sharp stick than go to the press conference.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But Cleary was asked a question, Ivan, this is, about, is it the end of the era? Because they were going to try and win a 5th. They were trying to get into a 6th straight grand final. Only the St George Dragons in history had made as many consecutive grand finals. This was Ivan Cleary's response to that question.
Yeah, right. It's been an amazing reign. You've had for so long. How does it feel that it's over now?
What's over?
Well, I guess the 4-time premiers dynasty you've had. It's been an amazing run.
Thank you. I'd like to think there's, more in us. Obviously, I'm not going to win it this year, but we definitely showed a fair bit to fight back from a poor start, that's its own story, but doesn't need to be told today. But probably some lessons in there, and but ultimately just not quite good enough this year.
I thought the answer, and while literally it's not, they're not working on next season already, but I thought their next season started yesterday with that attitude of their coach. Straight away, the mindset is, boys, okay, well done today. We didn't get it done, but, wait until we, it ain't over.
Yeah.
There's more things to be achieved with this team. It's not like we're putting this to bed.
Well, the consecutive run is over. That's all.
That's all. That's it, isn't
the
it?
consecutive run of grand finals. So, they'll go back and training will start.
Could you say where they lost it yesterday? Could you pinpoint could there be a moment? I'm going to say it's first half, and it's credit to Brisbane, because I think Penrith could have led by more, but it was just Brisbane's goal line defence that kept them within reach rather than being what could have been 20-0. It was 14-0.
Yeah.
If I could go back without saying an absolute moment,
No,
but
I agree.
sets of 6 where they just didn't get more points.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't get the result, and they didn't keep the ball
Brisbane
down that
were
end of the field. Brisbane were on their heels. They had Brisbane on their heels, and you're right. The possession and the field position that they played within that first half, they probably needed to score one more try. But there was moments in that game where there was a set restart where Mitch Kenny just held the player down too long on play 5, and Blaze Talangi hung his hand out and gave Brisbane
the touch in the 6 again.
The touch on play 5.
True.
On play 5, so they were 2 full sets that they had to defend, and they just didn't have the energy to do that. But if someone asked me, I go, well, I was proud of what they did yesterday because they got themselves into a winning position, just couldn't hang on against a side that just did more in the second half than what they did in the first half.
Okay, can you give me a one-word answer? Who then is your favourite to win the grand final? One word.
Melbourne.
There we go. That's our finals wrap up.
I whispered it.
You whispered it. I think it started with an M.
Melbourne!
Michael, doctors say a proper breakfast includes eggs, bacon, and breakfast with Vossy and Brandy. So get your daily fix through our socials and listen live on SEN Radio.